Eamon Khan here for Seconds Out. Pleasure to be in the company of Aamer Abdullah of Misfits Pro. Amer, great to see you. Talk to me about the vision of Misfits Pro as you look to move into 2026.
Well, I will respectfully correct you. MF Pro.
MF Pro, my apologies.
The Misfits Boxing has got their influencer side,
Sure.
MF Pro. Of course, the vision is to unite all the promoters, put on the best fights for the fans, because at the end of the day, that's who we work for. We put on great fights, competitive fights, and we've got a lot of fun things planned for this year. We're looking to come stateside. We're looking to head to Asia. We've got a fight plan there, and we're looking for some exciting things to happen. But at the end, just putting on the best fights that can possibly happen.
Real good fighting prospect in the form of Vidal Riley taking on Maciej Masanak for the European title. When you look for the plans for Vidal Riley, European title gets you rankings across all governing bodies. An assault on the world title before the end of the year, possible?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Vidal has... I turned Vidal pro when he first came to Las Vegas. Well, that was a few years ago, and the journey has been amazing. He had his first 3 or 4 fights stateside, came back to the UK, kept progressing, kept growing, and got the British title. We were looking to defend the British title. That didn't work out, so we move on to bigger and better things, and that's what the European title is. And of course, the next step is that world stage. So he's got the world at the palm of his hands.
For some reason, the credibility seems to escape Vidal because of the influencer side of things. Is that something you want to... Well, he should have it anyway, after considering his achievements in the sport, but do you think it's going to take winning a world title to cement any of those doubts or the conversations around it?
I think that's exactly what it's going to take.
Yeah.
And, because he came... When I first met Vidal, it was because KSI had come to Las Vegas, and I was working with Floyd Mayweather Sr. at that time, and KSI wanted to train with Floyd. And then Vidal was there, and he came up, and he wanted to spar with one of my fighters, Badu Jack. And I said, "You're not sparring with Badu. I don't even know who this kid is." So we had him spar with somebody else in the gym, and he did great. And Jeff Mayweather and I had a conversation. We were like, "Man, this kid is special." So we had a conversation with Vidal. I got to know him well. A few months later, he actually moved into my home with me with my family, and we turned him pro and whatnot. But the reason I'm going back to that story is I met Vidal through the KSI angle. And I think a lot of traditional boxing guys have seen Vidal as that KSI angle. But Vidal started from the Great British Team, had his own amateur career, had his own amateur pedigree, and came up as an actual boxer that turned over to the social media side and then came back to the boxing. Vidal had an opportunity to fight on the Mike Tyson-Roy Jones card, and then the Floyd Mayweather-Logan Paul card, and he got sick and injured on both of them consequently. But the Mayweather-Logan card, it was difficult to get him on that card because he said, "I don't want to be viewed as that influencer kind of guy." So long answer was that. The short answer is I think he needs to capture that European title. World title to totally get out of it, but he's the British champion now anyway, regardless. So I think he's proven that.
Vidal was on a short list of fighters who could be the potential opponent for Jake Paul. Is that a route that, if it's really a prospect, you'd like to take him down?
I heard Nikisa Bidarian talking about Jake Paul fighting Vidal Riley. I love Jake. I think Jake has done phenomenal for the sport. I think Jake has done great for boxing. They have this Netflix machine behind them. I think Nikisa is a very astute and wise businessman. And I think the end of Jake Paul happens if he fights Vidal Riley. So I do not see that as a good move for Jake. But listen, the kid fought Anthony Joshua. So, it could just be, another challenge for him. But that probably wouldn't end well for Jake.
Let me get your take on the shifting sands in boxing. Of course, you'll keep your keen eye on that. Dana White and the introduction of super boxing, and they pinched one of the biggest stars from one of the biggest promoters in the country, Conor Benn, leaving Eddie Hearn to go to Dana White. A lot of conversation, debate about loyalty and whether he should have stayed or not. Where do you stand on that whole saga?
It's not my story, and my opinion really doesn't matter. I have my own reservations, my opinions. I know Conor, I know Eddie, Frank. I'll say this: when I moved to Las Vegas 15 years ago, Mike Tyson told me, "You're coming to the boxing capital of the world," and he said, "There's only 2 things that survive out here in the desert: snakes and chameleons. Pick which one you want to be." I'll leave it that way.
How big of a threat then is Dana White and Zuffa Boxing to the promoters that are currently in boxing?
I wouldn't say threat. I mean, it's a different promotional entity. I mean, you've got this UBO now, so it's a different model of boxing. I don't know if threat's the right word. I think it's a different flavor of boxing. Having a league, one champ. I think the solution to a lot of the problems in boxing is what Zuffa is offering: one promoter, one champion, one network, one sanctioning body. The problem is boxing hasn't been historically run that way, and I'm not sure if it can conform that way. I applaud anything new that's going to put eyeballs on the sport, and they're just getting started, right? So give them some time to be able to. They've got a powerhouse behind them. They've got a ton of money behind them. They've got some very smart people behind them. They've got a good team behind them. So give them time to see, but I wouldn't consider it a threat. I think it's just a different flavor of boxing, and I wish everybody all the best.
What's new is also old. We're having the rematch, the rerun of Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao. It has its slot. It's landing on Netflix, I believe, as well, live at the Sphere.
Yeah.
What do we think of that fight, considering the timeout both have had from the sport and the years before the first fight had happened as well?
I don't think it matters. I think that regardless of what Floyd Mayweather does on a professional level, he will always draw eyeballs. I think Floyd, what he's done, I'm talking from a boxing perspective. I have utmost respect for what he did, and you can't not but respect him. When I was coming up fighting, everybody looked up to Floyd because of what he did. His style, the way he talked, the way he, lived his life, and that attracted eyeballs. So it doesn't really matter what Floyd does or who he fights on a professional stage. Him and Manny Pacquiao, the biggest pay-per-view fight in the history of boxing, and now it's going to be on the biggest streaming platform in history. I think it'll do massive numbers. I think it'll be very intriguing. The build-up will be great. Yeah, of course they're older. These guys are in their late 40s. It's not a prime fight. It's a fun fight. But again, it's great for eyeballs on the sport.
I appreciate your time. Thanks for being here.
Always. Thank you.
Insightful conversation.